with fantasy football season on its way with under a month. His 7th pick draft strategy and breakdown of a mock draft I did. First 7th pick overall, CeeDee Lamb. He fell a little bit in this draft. You usually see him go anywhere from that 4 to 6 range in most drafts. To CeeDee Lamb to get him to 7th, I think is good value. Obviously, last season, even with Dak Prescott out majority of the season, he still had a monster year for the most part of CeeDee Lamb. So once again, I believe he could go out there, be a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy football. Then second round went receiver, once again starting this draft off very heavy at the receiver position. 2-6 Drake London. Last season, solid year was with London. Now Michael Penix, he's going to be the starter all season long, where he came in towards the end of the season as the starter for this Atlanta Falcon team. So Drake London, number 2 wide receiver. He's going a lot mid-second, even late second at times. We've seen him go, but I think Drake London in this spot is good. And then to round it out, Tyreek Hill to fall into the middle to the later part of the 3rd round, I just think is great value. I know Tyreek Hill had a down year last year, but I'm big on Tyreek Hill going into the season. To get him at 3rd round, I think is great value. Like I said, he's got that top 10 appeal as Tyreek Hill, even though last season was a down year, and he's now in the latter part of his prime, no doubt about it, but I still like Hill. And then 4th round, Kenneth Walker, running back. I'm big on going into the season, but for him to fall to the 4th round, I'm still comfortable with Walker as my number 1 running back. And after loading up at the receiver position the first 3 rounds, then I hit the running back position the next 3. So Walker, starter over there in Seattle. I know Zach Charbonnet, one of the better handcuffs and backups in all the NFL at the running back position, but Walker, he could do it all. And this offense, they definitely changed things up as well, bringing in Sam Darnold, bringing in Cooper Kupp, Jackson Smith-Njigba now in his 3rd year, I think could go out there once again and be good. But Kenneth Walker, like I said, to get him in the 4th round is great value. David Montgomery got him in the 5th. I know Jahmyr Gibbs, he's the guy over there. Montgomery's still going to get his touches, still going to get that goal line work majority of the time, I believe, is Montgomery, or at least 50% of the time, and also a decent receiver still out of the backfield. So even with going 3 receivers early in this draft here, I still made up with Kenneth Walker and Montgomery in the 4th or 5th round. Then the 6th round, I wanted to really shore up my running back position, so I took DeAndre Swift. Where Swift, we know it's been up and down for him throughout his career, and he's bounced around the league a little bit, starting off with the Lions, then the Philadelphia Eagles he had some time with, and then last season his 1st year with the Bears. But like I said, receiver, I made out well, and then I needed to attack the running back position, and that's exactly what I did, getting DeAndre Swift. 7th round, David Njoku. Not big on Njoku coming into the year, but the tight end position, I wanted to get one of the top 10, top 12 tight ends. So David Njoku, 7th round. Maybe I reached a little bit for Njoku, but we know he's a freak athlete. We know he's a matchup problem for most linebackers, even safeties at times, that go out there and cover David Njoku. And this Brown team, they're going to be trailing early and often. And besides Jerry Jeudy, there's not much going on in that passing game. I know they got Cedric Tillman, Deontay Johnson. They signed in the offseason, but there's a lot of games they're going to be trailing, and I think Njoku carve out a decent year. Kyler Murray in the 8th round is good value. Still one of the better rushing quarterbacks in all the league, in my opinion, is Kyler Murray. Last season was an up and down year, but great weapons in this offense. Trey McBride, one of the better tight ends in the league. Marvin Harrison entering his 2nd season in the league. I think it could be a breakout for him. And Murray, now 2 years off the torn ACL, I think he could go out there and take the next step this season. 9th round, Josh Downs. Last year was a solid year for the most part with Downs. I know quarterback's been a problem over there the last couple of years. They thought Richardson was going to be the franchise quarterback with this Indianapolis Colts team, but obviously that hasn't come to fruition. He's banged up. And as of now, with reports and injuries, it looks like Daniel Jones might be the opening day starter for this Indianapolis Colts team, but someone's got to catch the football. I know they got Michael Pittman as well, but between the 2 receivers, I'd rather have Downs. Tajay Spears, took a 10th round pick with him. Spears, him and Pollard, it could be a 50-50 split or 60-40 split in favor of Pollard. But last season, towards the end of the year, Tajay Spears finally had some big games. Like going into the year, a lot of people, they were in on Spears, but with injuries and not performing well, he didn't do much. But I think someone to get in the 10th round, be my 4th running back on the roster. I think it's good value for Spears. Then in the 11th, Keon Coleman, I went with in this one. Keon Coleman, he's got an opportunity to step up and be one of the main targets in this offense, where they didn't add much at all in the offseason in the receiving room was this Buffalo Bill team. So Keon Coleman last year had a couple pop games. here and there. We know he's a big-time play receiver, but he has to get the playbook down more, and he's got to run that route tree a little bit more. But with a quarterback like Josh Allen and only entering his second year, Keon Coleman could be an under-the-radar sleeper type of receiver. Then Isaac Guerrero, one of the better handcuffs in the league. We know Christian McCaffrey, his health's been up and down throughout his NFL career. And Guerrero, I still think he could get some work here and there, where CMC, they could try to keep him fresh at times. So Guerrero to be my fifth running back. And like I said, if CMC goes down in that 49er offense, running backs usually have had success over the last few seasons. And then to round it out, Keenan Allen, newly signed, once again back with his old team, the Los Angeles Chargers. Last year, he had some decent ball games with the Bears towards the end of the year. But this Charger team, it's wide open, I think, for that number 2 wide receiver position with Quentin Johnston and the rookie Harrison. Also, Mike Williams, he retired a couple weeks ago. So Keenan Allen back with his old team. And like I said, he still has good hands as Keenan Allen. Still a crisp route runner. I know, obviously, he definitely lost a step and his prime years are behind him. But I still think as a 6 wide receiver and someone who knows, obviously, him and Justin Herbert having great rapport over the years. Allen, as a 13th round pick, is great value. So the final roster, Kyler Murray, a quarterback, I like where I got him. I think you have a good year with Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison, CeeDee Lamb to fall to number 7. Great value. Drake London, him and Michael Penix, I think could be a good combination. Kenneth Walker, to get him in the 4th round of running back, I'm pretty big on this season. I think he could go out there, have another solid year. David Montgomery, nice number 2 option in the running game, even though Jahmyr Gibbs, he had the monster 2 seasons since he's been in the league, but Montgomery's still putting up numbers, still a very good running back. David Njoku, this Brown team, they're going to be trailing a lot, so him at the tight end position, even though I might have reached a little bit in the 7th round, I think Njoku could go out there and be solid for owners. Tyreek Hill, 3rd round, good value. I still think he has top 10 potential in fantasy football as Tyreek Hill. We know the speed's still there. I know he's in the latter part of his prime as well as Tyreek, but like I said, I can never count him out, because when he's got a chip on his shoulder and wants to prove people wrong, we've seen Hill with his back against the wall go out there, make plays, and put up numbers. DeAndre Swift is a backup back. He's going to be the guy for now over there in Chicago, even though I think Roschon Johnson, he could get more touches this season. Josh Downs arguably could be the number 1 receiver over there in Indianapolis, and there could be a team that's trailing early and often have to throw the football a whole lot. Tajay Spears, him and Pollard, it could be a 50-50 split, or at least 40% of the touches, where Spears, he's a solid receiver out of the backfield as well. So to have depth with Spears, Keon Coleman, he could be a lottery ticket, where I know Shakir is the number 1 receiver over there in Buffalo, but Keon Coleman, last season we saw some flashes, we saw some potential, and I think entering his 2nd season with this Buffalo Bill team, he could be much better. Isaac Guerrero, one of the better handcuff running backs in the league. CMC, we know he's getting up there in age a little bit. We know injuries have been a concern every other season. Last year, he barely played with CMC, so Guerrero is a handcuff and someone who has top 15 potential if CMC went down. You take a flyer on. And Keenan Allen, like I said, now back with the Chargers. Him and Justin Herbert, great rapport. I know it's a new system with Harbaugh, but last season, Keenan Allen, even in the down year with a new team in the Bears, he had 70 receptions. I think Allen still has good hands and still can make plays. So with the 7th pick, that's the round out and the breakdown of my team. And I think it's a decent roster. I know running back, a little late I waited on it, but I still made out, I think, pretty well with Walker and Montgomery as my starting backs. So that's 7th round pick breakdown entering the 2025 fantasy football season.